Hello everybody, my name is Will and welcome to Sprocket. Today we're going to be doing something slightly different. You could be watching this video from one of two places right now. So, number one, you could be watching this from the edited version of the video, in which case you are going to... The cat has stabbed me in my side! Okay, before I was so rudely interrupted, what I was trying to say is you could be watching the edited version of this video where the cat stabs me and then there's a cut, or you could be watching the completely unedited version of this video, which is going to be unlisted and in the description of the edited video, and that is essentially just going to be the whole building process, and we're going to see how that works. The edited version, you're going to see cuts where I'm showing off things that I think are important. But yeah, let's start building. And also, let me feed my cat. Okay, the small demon, which I call a cat in my house, has been sated. So, welcome to the first part of the video, which is going to be only included in the unedited version. So, what I'm going to be designing today is something small. I want to build an airborne tank. So, small... light is kind of going to be the key here. Sorry, exhausted. I've run up and down the stairs to feed the cat. I don't know why I did that. I could have walked, but, you know, what's the fun in that? So I'm going to need some tiny little... I don't know if this is actually small enough, to be honest. I mean, it feels quite big, but... Let's take off the fenders for now. That's probably going to be a good start. And let me kind of get an idea of the scale we're looking at. Just going to look up the M22 for scale. So it is... I don't think it's 6.3 inches long. Oh, God, that's the Samsung Galaxy M22. Okay, hang on. I'm going to have to be a little bit more specific here. I was going to say, I don't think the M22 Locust is 6.8 inches long. A phone, I can believe more. Okay, 3.94 meters. That long, roughly. Width is 2.16. I don't think this game... I think that's the width not including... any kind of tracks, because there's no way that is the shape of the M22 Locust. It ain't that wide. So we're gonna take that down to realistic levels. Okay, but that's a reasonable length. Then we know that that's a reasonable length. Max weight I really want to go for is. Probably, I think I want 3 crew as well. Probably 8 tons, if I can keep it that low. That would be nice. And I'm also going to do a couple things while we're still in generated, like just flattening out some of these angles, because I don't want a cast tank. I'm going for riveted steel, because you know me, I love my rivets. Narrow tracks, saving on weight. Is that too wide? I don't know. That obviously that's going to look weird because we have... That's a very narrow... We won't worry about it. It's a narrow idler. It's fine. No problem with a narrow idler. Those look a little bit odd. I want to bring in that HVSS so it's not poking out, but also I'd like the road wheels to actually go out a bit more, so I'm going to do that, but what that's going to do is kind of, yeah, we ignore that. We carry on. Any of you who are watching this video, you don't mention that in the comments section of the main video, and then no one else needs to know. It's a secret between you and me. No one needs to know. How would they know? Why would they know? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. Really wish we had leaf springs right now, actually. That'd be really nice. Right, let's bring this hull back, because I think we should have it starting around there, and as well, Actually, let's not do that. Let's bring this up and then all of this back, because I kind of don't mind the tracks sticking out of the front slightly. And we're going to want to divide this up a little bit more so we can bring these... Not that. We can... all of my options have closed. Hello, I'd like those back, please. Bring this forward. Ooh. Ooh. The void. Okay. Then we can bring this up. Now we have some kind of semblance of a realistic front to it. This is hideous back here, but one thing I'm gonna do is merge these points in diagonally. I think this will work. I've got to... Yeah, okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. And now it's kind of squared off. I want to bring these out so that they're vertical, and then there's a face floating here, which face is that? That doesn't actually exist on the other side either. Well, that's odd. Okay, hopefully that doesn't have adverse consequences. And let's bring this down. So in order to bring it down, I'm actually going to start by bringing it up. And then we're going to sink it in and remove these faces. And we're just going to redo that. I'm sure there was a better way of doing that, but it's the way I've done it, and it works, and it won't take me too long. I've just got to do it on the other side. That's going to cause problems here, because that is still connected to that point. Is that the same here? Okay, that's the same there. So we're going to need to remove that face as well. That's fine. We can do that. This is something I don't think too many people tend to do, possibly for good reason, but I do find value in occasionally just removing faces and then rebuilding them with the purposes of having what I want instead of what the game thinks I want, because the game is ultimately sometimes wrong about that. And now, yeah, there we go. You can see our internal space is slowly returning to us, and we've just got this back section to do. I might have been quicker to do this with the split tool, but here we go. We've done that. Do we have any overlapping faces? I don't think we do. Okay, that's good. Now, let's see. Can we bring these in slightly? And these faces out slightly. I don't want that, though. I'm going to extend that and then merge. No, I can't merge that one. I'm just worried that's going to cause... Stop it. I don't want that. Yeah, I think we've got some overlapping faces on the inside here. That's not something I want, but it's something I got, basically. Yeah, like that. That's not what we're wanting. So we're going to get rid of these faces on the top. And we're going to redo those to use these 4 points. Okay, fantastic. Now, one thing I do want to do is We're going to split this in the middle, and then we're going to split it 2 more times. And this here, I'm going to bring these in like that amount, I think, will allow us to bring out this central section, essentially. But I want to extend that, and then probably also extend this. And we're going to do some face merging here. Or, well, point merging. Which has gone horribly wrong. Why are you merging into that spot? That was odd. Okay, right, we've lost our internal space because in here we have a very confused face. Oh dear. Still don't have any internal space. Oh dear, why is that? Who knows? Will it come back? It's come back. Okay. Hopefully that stays back and doesn't disappear for us again. But the reason I've done that is as follows. Let's just merge these points up. We now can have a kind of Tetrarch style forward driver position. So if I bring that back, we can kind of hide our driver in there a little bit. Not hide, but, you know, hide. Split this, and let's have our engine deck here. So for the engine deck, we're going to bring up all apart from those sides. We're going to extend that, and we're going to have that slightly higher, and then take these points and bring them out to give her a nice curve like that, but not quite. Oh no, hang on. We've got a problem because that one is still merged in with that. So instead, new plan. I could fix that, but I think this might look better anyway. Bring these up, extend it again, and then bring them across and rotate this face. Shrink it, not that way. Where are you go? That's not shrinking. That's expanding. Bring it across. Down. Is that playing silly with this side? It is. Thought I could see something a little bit off with that. That's just because of how many little faces there are here. But that's fine. It's slightly better now, and so I'm going to say I'm happy with that. Now, I'm not going to do custom vents. Forget that. Can't be bothered, frankly. Let's extend this section. And I want it to essentially be a very subtle, but also definitely there, kind of dip in, and it needs to be more of a dip that way so that it looks like there is actually some metal holding it in, and then within here we're going to have our vents, and I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Just 2 of these, put them in the hull slightly so that they kind of flatten in. One problem with this is you don't get the there. That point there is when you actually get like a covering effect, so it makes the internal of the vent just black, but obviously here it just kind of goes into metal. But if you see from most angles, people aren't going to notice that, so that's fine. There's the little secret. You'll see that in a lot of my tanks, to be honest. I do that quite a lot just because it's not really worth fixing, in my opinion. One thing I could do is drag this vertically shorter and then get a kind of similar effect, which I kind of like, to be honest. I might stick with that. And another thing I might also do is just give them the slightest angle, like that. Let's bring them up and apart again, and then... Yeah, that's not awful. That's not awful. I quite like that as an engine deck. It is simple, but we'll kind of fix that with a riveted panel in the center here, and don't like that this stretches the rivets. But I also don't really want to just use two side by side. Do I? No, actually, that works pretty well, because... Oh, yeah, no, this is great, actually. Then I can... use these as faux hinges, like so. And these here, which are meant to be handles, but we're going to use them as the rod in the actual hinge. Obviously, it's a little bit blurry, so it's kind of hard to see when you're working on such detail. I wish the depth of field could be manually overridden. And now we've kind of... These look like hatches, and then we give them little tiny handles as well. These slightly taller ones. Make them like that. Now this is like a hatch for oil filling, you know, where you put your fuel in, a little bit of maintenance maybe on something like the, I don't know, oil filter, air filter kind of thing, you know. And then you can take apart these engine decks for actual maintenance on bigger things, and I think that's pretty cool, actually. I quite like that. It's nice and simple, but it also works, you know. That's kind of what we're looking for here. Keeping it basic today, because I'm trying a new thing. And we're going to do another set of splits. Now, some of you, I know, do not like the split tool, and so will be absolutely hurting from this, but I quite enjoy the split tool. So my dearest apologies, but it's going to happen. Now we're going to bring this out and bring that back in. So instead of what we had before... Oh, no. No, this will not do. These faces have gone all kinds of wrong here. No, not what I wanted in the slightest. Yeah, I'm playing with fire regarding this hull here. Definitely could have done a better job in managing my nodes, but here we are. Seems to be working. Okay. I'm going to bring this further back as well, and we will... I'm going to use nodes because I don't want that triangle forming there. We will put back our fenders at this point, I think. We're going to have to separate them a little bit more and make them a hell of a lot narrower. Something like that. And I don't mind doing that, actually. I think that works pretty well. We're going to have to bring the rear back, though, so it actually pokes out just a little bit. This is definitely an odd little tank, but I'm enjoying it. I like it so far. Bring that down just a little bit more, because we don't need legs there. We just need the transmission. We don't even need the transmission. These are the idlers, not the sprockets. Speaking of things we need to do, we need to not do that. That's bad, actually. Oh no! Where have you sent the other hatch? Oh god, hopefully there's not one floating around somewhere in the void now. Yeah, sometimes when you control Z, it'll throw your parts all over the place. We didn't have too many. We've not lost our hinges either, so that's okay. Okay, cool. The reason I undid that is, and that's gonna mess with those parts, isn't it? Okay, that's fine. We can deal with the rear being that angled, I think, because I can then just get a shape that I'm more happy with by bringing that in. Now it looks a little bit more sensible underneath. Not crazy more sensible. Definitely not my favourite underside to a tank I've ever done, but you don't really see it. So long as it looks okay from the back, we're all Gucci, as the kids say. Yeah, okay. Maybe... That kind of works, actually. Hang on, what if it works on the front as well? I wish that hadn't pulled out the hull. But, if I bring these points back out, I'm not too insulted by that, to be honest. The bit of angle that I didn't know if I would have on this tank. Maybe even something like that could help quite a lot. We've lost a lot of internal space. Okay, we've got duplicated faces on the inside here. And now on the other side, there's one. And let's move our camera to presumably somewhere else along here is suffering the same fate, because we definitely shouldn't have this little in the way of internal space. That looks off for sure. Not what we like to see. I think we've got points coming very close to one another, which was causing some void issues there. That's okay. We've dealt with them. Now, what we are going to have to do is start actually putting some detail on this hull. So we're going to put a viewport on this bad boy, and let's make that go over the top slightly, as well as adding a little riveted plate hat to it. That's okay. Let us manually rivet the rest of this, and I kind of want these rivets to be a bit smaller if I can. Just because it's a small tank. I'm tempted to do another hinge for this. It feels a bit odd and maybe not the best idea, but I'm gonna do it because it feels funny. But the whole top of this just hinges up, which wouldn't make sense with this thing clipping through, so we'll bring that down. And obviously that would then explain why the rivets on there are a slightly different shape, because I was just thinking we're going to have to kind of replace those. I can just use a line of rivets here. I don't know what I'm doing. Which way are they facing? The wrong way. Amazing. Bring them back around. You know, to be fair, I should be using lines of rivets pretty much everywhere. Because it's very angular. We're not really dealing with rivets around a corner. Rivets on there. Rivets on here. Rivets on everywhere. Bring these down as if that is a seam in the armor. And then probably another set just running down the edge here. If they'll place. There we go. They did eventually place. Okay, there we go. That's a little bit. Give me my angles. There we go. A little bit of riveting. We're going to need a couple more. Now, there is a limit to the rivet, but I've not hit it. But all those rhymes, that was amazing. I swear, it's Control D now. I swear that used to be C. I keep hitting C instead of Control D. And either I'm just wrong, or that's changed. And I do not like it, if it has changed. I want my C back. I'm sure I could rebind it, but I'm too lazy. I'd rather just complain. Because I'm a terrible person. That's going to be an annoying size that doesn't quite work with the rivets that we have. However, front riveting is roughly riveted. Just bring some down onto the underside. Not too many. It's too dark to see for the most part. Now, vision for our poor driver here. I saw somebody use these very well, and I cannot for the life of me remember who it was, but it was very cool. And then they had a decal, which I don't have, to put on those to make them look like viewports. I don't have those. Could I cheat and use a gunner's port, or is this going to make the game very, very angry? I'm not hugely sold, but you know what? We'll leave it for now, because we need something to just make this thing look more lived in. I think that's the problem it's got at the moment, is it feels very empty. I'm not a huge fan of it at the moment, but if we just add some stowages, that can make a world of difference, honestly, to how these tanks look. Maybe not this one, maybe it's just doomed to look a bit weird. We'll see. We'll just have to make sure we put on a turret that is just as weird and then we shall be fine. Normalcy is not necessary. I kind of like that. That angled armor that we had actually being a stowage instead. It's going to leave the hull underneath, but that's quite nice. That kind of gives it a reason to exist, almost. These things, I still don't know why they would exist, other than shape. Perhaps... maybe that is where we put our, like, winching points, where it would winch onto whatever it was carrying, or a big old parachute, or whatever, depending on how they want to deliver this thing. It doesn't need to make sense, because militaries didn't always try things that made sense. I mean, the Russians tried to make a tank fly under its own power, so it's no weirder than that. That's for damn sure. I don't think I've ever built a tank with rivets as small as this before, so this is an interesting procedure, to say the least. Obviously, get shot one time by this thing, and every panel on your tank is a blowout panel, but it's quite clearly not designed to be hit. Don't get shot at by anything. Small arms, you're cooking off. Don't get hit at all, is the motto today. Return rollers. Let us move forward a bit with those. We're going to bring it down slightly. Then we're going to put the spacing up. So we've only got one in the center, which kind of allows the tracks to dip down in the middle. I don't know why. I just like when they do that. It's cool. Don't bully me. We're going to also make this return roller a little bit smaller. Sorry if you hear any weird noises. That's a gritting tractor outside. Okay, so now we have the general hull form, and we also have the a little bit of detailing on the hull. I think it looks about what I wanted. We're going to have to move on to the turret sooner or later, but before I do that, I want to work on this rear. So, what we're going to do is bring out a panel on the back, and then make the top of it angled, and the bottom of it kind of more smoothly integrate itself back into the lines of the tank. And then let's bring these out just a little bit more and bring these 2 points down, leave a mirror on. As well as putting, I don't know, maybe, is that excessive? I don't know if that's excessive. Yeah, it's odd. but I don't actually hate it that much. Where can the exhausts go is the question. Perhaps if we put them down under here, like that, they just exhaust down towards the floor. That's not awful. We'll put some lights on as well on these bits. They seem made for it. And then some on the front. Let's have it be a bit asymmetrical. Let's have one on there, and let's give it a bit of a cage around it. Not too much of a cage around it. If you're wondering, I am doing this by holding Alt and then dragging on the green arrow. And you can see it brings it up in a line. But actually, I don't like that. It's a handy tip, but I don't like it. Don't want it. Just going to have the light on its own. Nothing else. On the other side, do I add... Can I put like a spare road wheel, maybe? That's definitely not working. We can reduce the number of segments on that. Put a spare track there. 3 spare track segments. Not a lot, but it's better than none. Oh no. You've removed the wrong thing there, game. No. Give me my wheel back. There we go. It's like a Land Rover. No, okay. We'll just have to accept that that's not working. However, what can work is some rivets for this rear section, because we all know what this tank needs. It's more rivets. More structural weak points is what I always say. More structural weak points, more better. It's not the best riveting ever, but forget about it. It'll do the job. I don't know why this unmirrored itself. There we go. And for that matter, why is it now bigger? I swear it's not that big on the other side. Is it always that big? Apparently so. Okay. Hull form is pretty much done then. We've got our rear end. We've got our front end. Now we need to do a turret. So let's get one on here, and let's get the general scale of turret that I'm thinking of. And I think, honestly, quite a big turret relative to the hull does fit this tank. So something about that size. Do I have any turrets that I think could work? Definitely not. Don't know what I was thinking about that. No, not that. No, that's the same. No, that's a bit too... Okay. We'll design something fresh. So we'll do that again. Bring the size just down a little bit, and then get our turret ring roughly where we want it, which is probably Probably there, to be honest. Bring the diameter of that down a little bit. Is this turret too big? I don't think it is. Let's make the sides pretty much straight vertical up first, and then we'll bring the faces out. Now. Gonna need some inspiration here. And for this, I think what we're gonna want is bring this to the center. Bring these points out to meet that one. Bring these... Oh, no. That back. Bring the back of the turret back down. Let's remember to select all of the nodes I want. Also, remember to actually connect the turrets to the turret ring. That would be handy. And bring this front of the turret back a little, as well as the rear, so it's more rounded, but not fully rounded. Fantastic. Split here, bring this back, and bring these in, down, and then maybe just a bit more like that. Let's actually make this angle a little bit more extreme. And let's do something a bit wild. So we bring this down, and then okay, that's not remotely what I want. I want this on the exact same height, and then like this we have a bit of a lip, and I mean, does that look good? Kinda. Maybe it's too fat. Maybe it needs to be more of a slender boy. Whoa, that's not what I meant to do. Let's select all, bring it up again. Now I feel like these nodes in the center are a little bit too far out, and I also definitely think that this is far too tall. Not far too tall, but like just that kind of a height instead. And let's pick ourselves a mantlet. That's just not gonna work. I wish it did, because I've not used that, but it's just never gonna work. That's too... could work. Once again, no, I don't think so. Something like this brought out sideways would work, I think, if it wasn't for the fact that it stretched that central piece. Do we just... Do we? You know what I mean? Is it just give up and make my own mantlet kind of hours? Maybe. Don't know. Am I overusing this lately? Perhaps. Okay, we need to take this, split it, bring it down, and then split it again. Come on, give me any of these. Thank you. There we go. And then find these two pieces. Extend. And you know what? Extend again. And we'll do it this way. Bring these down. Bring these up. Bring them all in. Bring these in. Did we apply just the slightest bit of smoothing as well? Nope. Maybe? Yeah, why not? Go on then. We'll do that. And extendo that face inwards. And now we have our mounting points for the mantlet. And we want to kind of have something that matches it. So let's add another pure square turret. Bring the diameter of this way down and position this inside the thing. So, this is essentially going to be the same exact process as building an oscillating turret or building, well, I mean, it is literally building a custom mantlet. And this works in the same way. And what we're going to want to do is bring these in. I'm not too worried about how the back of this thing looks. I just want the front to look right because that's the only part we're working with. There will be many frustrations when doing this regarding the game swapping you over to the hull rather than the turret or the other turret if you're on a custom mantlet. Oh, yeah. It does that a lot. No, I've just taken the whole turret off. Just gently place that back. Yeah. Extendo this. Yeah. Roughly. Is that? So I don't know. Tell you what. That might be enough. It's a bit odd. But it's not horrid. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll go with this. Okay. We'll mount it on there, and we'll find... I mean, it doesn't really matter. We'll leave it like that. Turn off mirror. Now, blue is going to... yeah, it's going to be a bit weird. Blue is now red, and red is now blue. And green is something. All semblance of logic has, at this point, left us. And we may also have a slight problem wherein this is not quite vertical. And if we have that problem, I will cry. Because it sucks, and I don't like it. It's a horrible problem to have. We may be okay. Let us apply and gun. So it's going to play silly with which way it wants to put the mantlet, because the turret is obviously not the orientation it expects. Can I not rotate you? Can't rotate any of you. Huh. Okay, we'll do that instead. So I don't know why it wouldn't let me rotate those. It normally does, I swear, but that's okay. We're going to move the actual mantlet and not our parts so that it fits back in the turret again. And have it slightly inset as well. And now we put on our gun. I think, honestly, that's the one I want, but it needs to be stubbier. And then we also want... Ooh, no, that's red is blue, red is blue. Then we also want our gunner's sights, which we're going to place next to the gun like that, quite simply. As well as a couple of rivets. I guess. Maybe not. We may come back to this. One thing I'm definitely going to come back to is this here. Let's just going to do this as simply as I possibly can to avoid complications. We're going to add a little hole in the front of the mantlet, which serves no real purpose other than to look like more detail on the tank. Furthermore, speaking of more detail, let's actually bring... let's take some smoothing off. I wasn't sold on it, and I'm definitely not sold on it. We're going to bring that back in so it's more vertical. Bit of an odd shape to the turret. But I think... does it help? No, it makes it worse. Something is just not sitting well with this turret. I think I need some more edges. Don't want to have to do... I'd rather do another split than... yeah, anything else. And if I merge those up... what did I just merge? Hopefully nothing. Something like that is what I was thinking of. And let's also have a strange, goofy little light on the side there. Because why not? You know? It's fun. Structural. Let's see if we can make this turret look less weird by detailing her. Stowage on the back of the turret. We're going to make it less extendo and more reasonably sized. Something a little bit like that. We're going to have some little tiny viewports on the top of the turret. And then maybe one kind of bigger one in the center, which is kind of tall. Maybe something like that can work. Oh, God. It's not awful. Not awful, so we'll keep it. Why not? let's have some of these, but we're going to have to manually position them, else they're going to clip into stuff and look wrong. Yeah, sure, why not? And of course, I think we need our teeny tiny rivets. They're going to help just give a little bit more depth to this turret, which it was previously lacking. It felt very flat. As well as, let's go for a structural plate here and make it a little bit thicker. Can we give it any kind of viewport here? What can we use? What can we use as a viewport? Not a lot, frankly. Crew hatches. One on the top could be handy. It's going to be difficult without a commander's cupola to make this thing work. Maybe we just do put a commander's cupola on. Something like this. Back of the turret. Could work, could work. Could put a massive machine gun on. I just don't think it fits the aesthetic. It feels more like a British tank than the thing. I've just thought what this on here is as well. This hole, obviously, that's where a machine gun would go. So we'll just put one inset it, and then you've just got a little bit of a machine gun poking out. That works. That definitely works. Okay, that helps a lot with just making that feel like it's got purpose. Before it felt a little bit in the middle of nowhere. Also, I think something teeny here. Some kind of teeny handle. That one is not the one. This is the one, I think. And teeny weeny. Oh god, mirroring wasn't on for a bunch of these parts. There we go. Now it's on. The rivets were, luckily. Otherwise, that could have been an absolute disaster. Wouldn't have been that bad. Still. Hyperbole, you know? Would have been the worst thing to happen to mankind. We would never have recovered. And I'm sure you'll all back me up in stating that that is an uncontested FACT. Fact of the year right there. No one can or will argue with that because it's true. Rivets. Rivets. So many rivets. Oh my, so many rivets. And some more rivets. Shock to all of you, I'm sure, that I am adding rivets to this tank. However, we are pretty much done with our rivets, I believe. I don't think I want any on the roof, because that would be held in by these rivets. Why have we got... That's very odd. Okay. What we have here is these ones haven't actually rotated properly on the other side. Okay, grand. There is a kind of neat-looking tank, actually. We've ended up coming full circle. I don't hate this thing anymore. Let us give it a camo, which is... I just don't like how I want more green on it. I like this color scheme. I just want more green than beige. Maybe something more... too low res. Little... Okay, that could work. That's not horrible. And now we can make it work. Oh, wow. Okay, it all fits. And is that all of my detailing I want to do? Maybe not. Do we want a fuel tank on the back? Does that work? Or does that look a bit odd? This sticks out a bit too much, really. Ooh, that could be a plan. What if I make this just a one-side thing, and on the other side, we have a big old external fuel tank? And then we can actually drop the internal fuel down to something more like 300. Don't know, that feels like quite a lot, but I don't really know how much fuel tank capacity World War II tanks actually had. And that is the kind of era I'm going for. 1932, I'm gonna say, is when my headcanon for this tank, like when it was designed, that is what I am thinking of. Give it those final few rivets over here. The word rivet is slowly losing all meaning within my brain and just becoming a noise that frogs make. Yeah, okay. Viewports. Do we want our friend in here to see a little bit better? Yeah. Yeah, that works. What else do we want? Do we want anything? I don't know. It feels quite complete at this point. I think I'm happy to call this thing basically done. Maybe we put one of these on either side of here. Just a little thing, you know? No real reason. Just feels nice. Hull. Yeah, okay. We need some like towing hook things for sure. We'll have these two, and then also a couple underneath like that, as well as a similar kind of arrangement on the back. Two of those, and then two of those. Do we want a little bit of climbing assistance for the commander so he can get on top easier? Doesn't hurt, does it? That doesn't hurt at all. Doesn't really make the tank, but also it doesn't take anything away either. Please stop mirroring. There we go. Just on one side of the turret. Yeah. Okay. Let's change our track segments up to these ones, and we're going to make the track itself a little bit thinner, and we're going to make the length of the segments a little bit shorter, which also means we can adjust this back to 4 pieces. And actually put some on top of the Fenderinos. Like that. No reason not to do that. Okay. Great. Some kind of Tetrarch-esque thing. Little bit more modern, but the hull is definitely not what I would describe as modern. Let us now do some armoring. So, we're going to want thin armor. We ain't going to want a lot at all. But I think this kind of area of the hull should have enough armor to stop, like, small arms fire. So we're talking 20 millimeters, probably. 15 millimeters would probably cut it. But let's just go for 20 as a matter of argument. This as well needs the same treatment. This will not withstand any kind of anti-tank projectiles. We're talking handheld or tank launched here. Just nothing. This is going to shatter the moment it's shot at. But that's okay, because it's going to be fast and it's going to be armed with probably a not a gun you'd want to ignore. Definitely not a high-power anti-tank gun, but definitely nothing to be sniffed at. Probably, I want to say a 37mm gun. You know, we're talking door knocker kind of 37mm here. Yep. That's the gun I'm going to go for. Okay. Mind is made on that. Let's get the last bits of armor that needs to be kind of resistant to enemy small arms, made resistant to small arms. I think that would pretty much do as we're still under 8 tons, and our gun is a 75. Let's change that. We're going to go for a 37. And let's make the shells, I don't know, 450. Make this barrel just a little bit thicker and a little bit longer. And that gives us 73. 73 millimeters of penetration. That is not good. But also, these are already some pretty long shells, really, for the caliber of gun we're talking about. So, maybe a change of plan is in order. Maybe not a 37, maybe we're looking more at a 47. Let us load a second ammo rack. This one is going to be our APHE, and upgrade this here cannon to a 47mm gun. 82mm of penetration. Ooh, it's not good, is it? We'll upgrade it later if it needs to be upgraded. But for now, that's going to do for the turret ammo storage and also for the gun. I think it's just going to have to do. It's not particularly great, but it works. Okay, 2 ammo racks in the floor under the turret. It's going to take 2.3 seconds. That's going to take 2.1 seconds. It is very, very quick to reload. Let us take a bit of basket space out of this. Now, I bet you it's going to get confused as to which compartment the gunner is in. Okay, it has not. Never mind. Great, sure. And let's make the commander just the commander? Should we have a gunner and loader, and then a commander? Yeah, I think that's what we want. Gunner and loader has now realized that it's in this compartment, so it's taking away a huge amount of space, which previously wasn't being accounted for. We're going to call this the Mark 14, because I don't think we have one of those yet. We've got 11. We've got 11 TD. We've got 13. 14. Yeah, okay, 14. Mark 14. And you know what? Let's go and let's name this in honor of one of my patrons. So we're going to name this after my highest patron and the unbelievable generosity of Caligo Drake. So we're going to call this the Drake. There we go. It's called the Drake. It's subtle enough that it's it sounds like a tank name, but also there you go. That is devoted to my very, very generous patron. Link in the description if you want to subscribe to that. Just saying. And I think that is... Ooh, gearing. Yeah. Not that many gears. 2 reverse gears. 5 forward gears. Sounds about right. This one we're going to make just a tad bigger for the purposes of climbing hills and stuff. Am I forgetting anything else? Anything else? Yes, I am. This needs constraints. We're going to limit it to... Can we get away with 12 degrees of depression? We're going to just 25 up. Gunner's site in the gunner's department. No, I'm not missing a gunner's site in the gunner's department. It's right here. You fool. Can we get away with 12 degrees? Let's say 10. It's technically not clipping, but when I turn the turret, it is gonna clip. Boop. Okay, never mind. It is definitely clipping. Or is that... Hang on. Hang on a sec. That's the wrong way around. Okay, right. There we go. Normally it's been the other way around for me, which is why I've done that. Right. 12 degrees down. Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. That's perfect. And the turret is slow. It shouldn't be that slow. I think it's just because this one is quite as fast as it is. We're going to manually choose to kind of limit that time to max ratio so it picks to rotate the horizontal drive a little bit sooner, and that's going to make it a more effective turret overall. Hopefully the AI can use it a little bit better. And what kind of mobility has she got? RPMs. I need to adjust the RPMs. That's something I need to do. 3,200, we're just going to go for 200 lower, and it's quite high RPMs, so we'll do 1,700. 6-cylinder feels like a lot, I want to say. Feel like this should be, honestly, a 4-cylinder. How much power have we actually got? 17 per ton. What if we made it 1.2 liters per cylinder and we just dropped the RPMs to 3,000? 18.3. And then 19.5. That's a little bit better. What if let's see how it translates. Let's see how it translates to the actual tank. Ooh. It can cross trenches. That's always good. that reverse gear is very weak. We're going to need to make that a little bit more significant than that. Let's make that gearing a little bit bigger as well, so that we can actually get up to our higher gears a little bit easier. Okay, so it's no speed demon, but for the size and weight limitations I wanted to give myself, that's not awful. I am thinking the hull feels a bit wide, but I feel like it's too late to do anything about that. So we're going to call it there. We're going to say it's done. So, right. If you've watched through the entire building process, this has been, oh, good lord, an hour and a quarter. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and make sure you watch the full video if you've not watched that yet. Don't forget. That hopefully will be a lot of fun. We're going to be taking this thing through the whole game, including ambush, which is going to require me upgrading this a little bit off screen. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about this method of making videos. Obviously this one, unfiltered. You know, this is what it is. Enjoy. A lot of you asked for this. But yeah, cool. Hopefully this video will be up within a day. I think I can get this out by tomorrow, the actual gameplay part. So that'll be Tuesday, 17th of January. Right. Goodbye.